don't know why I cut it off at the end there. But hey, everyone. It's Monday. As you can see, there's just two of us today. Mal should be joining us at some point.
Hopefully.
Yes. But Mr. Marley is on his hollybobs, as is Mr. Evans, and Mr. Morris is at Cosford with the Veterans Group, M4H Group. So, yes. So what I'll do is I'll open the panel, open it up to the chat. If anyone wants to come on, you are more than welcome. Are you posting that, Modders?
Yeah.
Cool.
Done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There we go. So if you want to come on the panel, feel free and chat with me and Modders.
Yeah.
In the meantime, speaking of chat, we shall crack on with that.
I'll read the top.
Yes. GM says, on your tail, Hagrid, right up your tail feathers. Ha ha ha. June says, not an image I needed, Gary. Deckling and swearing in about equal quantities back when the stream starts. Good. June says, good morning, afternoon, and evening all. Hello.
Hello.
Matthew says, hi, everyone. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
GM says, to everyone else tuning in, well, hello there. Annyeong haseo. No annyeong today. Gary says, hello, Matthew. Jim says, guten Tag. Guten Tag, Jim. Or guten Abend. GM says, the Sydney weather has been sunny and cold with gale force winds. Earlier, around 3 p.m, it started raining. It's clear now with a near full moon. That's very changeable weather. It's almost Welsh. Gary says, good day, Jim. Hope you're well. And Jim says, greetings, Julian and GM. All is well on this early Monday morning. Good. David says, afternoon, evening, morning all. Good afternoon, David.
Afternoon. You nearly said morning.
I did.
Yeah.
I think I need to turn that light down a little bit. There you go.
I need to turn mine.
GM says, good day, David. Yeah, I was ghosting a little bit.
Yeah, mine was like, for some reason, looked bright white, but it's not.
Yeah. Joe says, good morning, afternoon, evening to all. Hope you all had a great weekend. We did.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I spent the Saturday catching up on Sea Fury and Sunday watching films. Okay. Which was nice. GM says, good day, Joe. Dave says, nice hour with Julian yesterday at the Barry show. Saved a near disaster with the modeller's B-36 nearly tumbling onto the floor. It's good to have people in low places, isn't it? Jim says, that's enough for now. I'll continue with the decals after the stream.
I have that song stuck on my head now. This is a good song.
Timmy says, good day, folks. Hello, Tim.
Afternoon. Will be evening for Timmy, won't it?
He is. GM says, good day, Tim. Julian, hi, Matthew, Jim, Stripe Skunk, David, Joe, and good day, Tim. I thought I said giggity Tim then. Phil says, hi, all. Hello, Phil. Not seeing it for a couple of shows.
I know. It's been a while.
Just put StreamYard link in, so if you want to come up on the panel, feel free. Julian says, afternoon, Phil. And Kevin says, good day, everyone. Good day, Kevin.
Good day.
So, what are you working on today, Modders?
I am doing where's the instruction book? There it is. The book nook that I started. Hang on, I'll bring you the light again. It wants to work. The book nook that I started on my channel.
Yeah.
I just right now I'm not in the right place to be streaming on my channel, and it needs finished because it's just annoying me being stuck in the cupboard half done. So
yeah.
What you doing, Mikey?
Me, I'm going to be working on my Land Rover because Kaylee found the instructions for me. London this morning whilst looking for HMS Belfast, which it appears I've binned.
Oh dear.
Yes, I must have binned it because I got fed up of seeing it and not being able to build the damn thing. So. But anyway.
I think I've only ever binned one model, and that was the Mirage.
Yeah. I think I just got fed up with it taking up space.
Oh no, for me, I tripped over my own feet, and when I fell, I landed on top of it.
Ah, don't do that.
So it got squashed. So it got binned.
At least you hadn't built it, because that could have been really painful.
Oh no, it was practically built.
Oh, that's not good.
No. I think the only thing I needed to do on it was the wheels.
Yeah.
At the undercarriage. It's just, yeah.
Kevin says, hi, Julian. Ian says, good day, everyone. Hello, Ian. Ian was up early this morning as well.
He was.
Yeah.
That was roughly the time that I fell asleep.
Yeah. I was well in the land of Nod by then, which makes a change. Scott says, good day, everyone. Hello, Scott. We haven't seen you for a while either. Ian says, Guten Morgen, Jim. Phil says, still busy looking after Dad. Also got my sister's black Labrador to look after for the next week and a bit. No idea when I'll get back to the bench. Oh, mate. But at least you're doing good work.
Yeah. And you've got us to keep you company.
Yeah. Julian says, hi, Ian. And hi, Scott. And Ian says, I set off for work at 5:30. Bloody hell, Ian.
Jesus.
You're mad. Mad, I tell you.
So he's skiving work to watch us.
Well, possibly. Who's to say? That's frame B, so that must be frame A. All right. So 28. And God. That's a big sigh, Modders. Ah, Maleficent's in the background.
And so is Timmy.
Hi.
Hello, Mal.
Hello.
Hello.
And hello, Tim. Hello,
Oi.
Tim. Oi. How the devil are you two?
I'm good.
Yeah, can't complain for a Monday.
You getting
I
an
do have a
almighty quiff
bungalow
on
to
there,
watch.
Tim? It's like Johnny English. Not Johnny English. Was it Johnny English, the cartoon? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, had my hair in a beanie today, so it's all sort of jank, but that's all right. We make do.
Yeah, don't have those problems.
I've joined the Mal's Chair Club.
Oh, there you go. Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo.
Hey, little mama.
Good chairs, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic. Cost a little bit, but well worth it.
I was looking. I got mine at £100 off.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm having that. I was just
Nice.
looking around for a decent chair after mine had collapsed.
Yep.
The central piston thing had gone. So looking around for one and saw it £100 off. I'm having it.
Yep.
I've just
Really
lost a pedal somewhere.
Yeah, I have all the settings. I'm still playing with it.
Yeah.
Don't know.
It's like a high-end car, and it's got all sorts of
Buttons and
under a
switches.
radio. Like the arms swivel out and in and up and down and backwards and forwards, and Of course, once you've got them in the place you want them, then the features are useless.
Ah, got it.
It's just missing a V8 engine. Alrighty.
Let's see.
Yes.
Scott says he's been about. He's just lurking more. Ah, you're being a sneaky peeky. Ian says, hi, Julian, David, Duke, Paul, and John. Seems like it was the weekend for meeting fellow BVC family members. Yeah, it was. Jim says, greetings, Ian, and all of the usual suspects in chat. There we go. Ooh. And Jim says, hello to all on screen.
Hello.
That colour scheme is interesting, too.
Huh?
Yeah, it's what I did my Matilda in. Counter scheme.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about the brown, but you know, I like the green one, but
I can't remember what colour I used.
This way is going to tell you you've used the wrong colours now.
Yeah, you definitely used the wrong colours.
That should have been red and blue and green.
There are they are laid laid out.
actually-
I can't remember what they were. One of them is silver grey.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. From what I understand, it was that silver grey, and then one of the museums or something had used like a bluer paint, and then everyone has kind of been interpreting it as more blue than it was.
Yeah, that's right. It was as you say. I found that out just before I did mine, but my brother's got a chart on the counter scheme. But I'd already chosen the paints that I was doing. I think I mixed.
You did Phantom there, did you?
Sorry,
Is that Phantom?
Phantom. Yeah.
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 I loved it. I mean, I don't do armor, but I do like paint schemes that challenge a bit. And
Yeah.
I think you mentioned last week about the lagging on the exhaust pipes, but there's also all these different bits here that you've got to try and get a straight line over.
Yeah. All the engine louvers on the back and
the louvers. Yeah.
It's a bit tricky. There's a few little cleanup bits I need to do before I progress. But yeah, I'm doing mine the Defiance one where it had that color instead of the that more green color. It had a XF10, which was a brown, I think, with the
I think I mean, it depends on paints that were available and all sorts of things. I mean, it's. I think the color scheme is like one of those that was developed for ships or aircraft. You know, one of these
Dazzle camouflage.
Dazzle.
Camouflage.
Yeah,
just to break up the shape, but the intent, like, it's very stark at the moment, but the intent is to give it a overspray with probably this UK light stone, like from a good distance, just to kind of unify it before really getting stuck in with the grime, and that should help.
Mine's quite well weathered, so it does look better when it's weathered down. But I think like squaddies back then, and the same as squaddies now, they'll get a diagram to do a paint scheme, and they go, well, sod that. I'll do it like this way. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll look similar or very much the same, but I'm not going to try and mask over this bit or that bit. And I think that's why they stopped using those sort of schemes, because it's a lot. They would have had to mask it to a degree to make it work in the way it was intended.
Yeah, would have been a pain in the butt.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And forget dragging a ship in a dry dock. You know, like what they've got on the Belfast. You know?
Yeah.
I remember seeing all the dibbies every day alongside, you know, on the boom lifts and stuff, just painting like one section of the LHD at a time. Because during the time I was in, they'd changed colour of our fleet, I think twice. It was a nice sort of blue, like a blue grey for a while, and then you know, because we operate primarily in the Pacific region, and a lot of the coastal water that we're in is more greenish.
Yeah.
So they changed it to a more greeny grey for a while and stuff. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, repainting a ship is a bit of a difference than repainting a piece of armor, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's why God gave us dibbies.
God gave us what?
Oh, bosun's mates, dibbies.
Oh,
you know, paint.
Yeah.
Dib. That's their job, and they can have it. I'll stick to machinery, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, they can J gun rust off and, you know, slap paint.
Like it.
I just picked a pedal up off this with my tweezers, and I saw it. I literally saw it fly past my face, and now I can't find it. So
Terrible.
It's going to be a 2-pedal Land Rover.
It's an automatic.
Yeah.
Well, I've just cut all the running gear off this.
Yeah. What have you got there?
Let's have a look.
So, yeah. I'm turning it into a hover tank. So, cut off all the running gear using my trusty Japanese razor saw. Brilliant bit of kit. To accommodate 15mm piping as the means to hover. That pipe's getting detailed with vinyl. You'll see that when I've done it, and other bits and pieces. I need some paint caps similar to these, which are going to go for the end of the. I've got no spare, so if anybody's got any paint caps, I need 4, but I'll find something. So yeah, I've been doing that, adding detail to the side there. Just about to do the same. These are bits. I've got bits of engine left over from a Zukimura J7W1 Shinden. I built this as a jet. So I've got all the engine parts.
Yeah.
The original engine parts. So I've been using some of them, as not using the engine itself, but added just to make it look a bit different. Fanning, that's the rear of the fuselage body, where the prop. It's a massive 5-bladed prop.
Yeah.
that's to be detailed. And I've been detailing the turret
Excellent.
with greeblies, engine parts, and
looking good.
yeah, it's just at the moment fun. It's, for those that don't know, it's a hobnob search and rescue vehicle. designed and built by International Rescue, based on
No trademark.
Sorry,
no trademark infringement intended.
No, there can't be a trademark. Don't exist. But anyway, because the hood likes hobnobs and tends to steal them, so International Rescue were approached to come up with a vehicle that could find them.
Nice.
And they based it on not because it's armor, because you don't need armor to search for hobnobs, but because of the space that would be available when you take out all the non-essential gear, especially in the turret. You don't need ammunition.
No.
And you don't need the guns and everything. So there's loads of space for all the search equipment.
Yeah.
And the barrels that are normally the fuel drums on the back will contain liquid, which is basically a brew of dunked the bits that fall off dunked hobnobs, or when you dunk hobnobs and they fall in your brew. That is saved, macerated up, and to make it complete liquid. And it's those that power the hobnob finding sensors.
Yeah.
Of course, we all do that, didn't we? We knew, all knew that was the case. So,
isn't
it? So, yeah, I'm building. I just feel I'm daft at this all is. But it's. I'm just having fun.
That's what it's about.
Yeah,
just
it's
to, like,
brilliant.
Explain it all. I'm like,
I can't. Sorry.
Just listening to you explain it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why would it be anything else?
Yeah. The point is that it's got to make sense. It does its job, so it works.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm saying it's based on a Russian one-off concept design. Which Border Models have released as their apocalypse tank. So
let's catch up with the chat. Ian says hi, Mal and Tim.
Hi.
Hey.
Jim says counter scheme is looking great, Tim. And Jim says after proper weathering and aging to represent the effects of North African desert, colours will look fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Just take the edge off. It's a bit bloody garish at the moment, but I'm trusting the process.
Yeah. GM says someone mentioned what if builds. Did see a built ME262 with AIM 9 and Sparrow missiles fitted. Different. Got me thinking about alternative builds. Nice.
Yeah.
Duke says, good day, all you beautiful people. I saw the Marlies today. You did, and you're wearing your channel t-shirt. So well done, you. Represented.
Yeah.
GM says, had my Airfix 148 Sea Fury on the bench looking at alternative schemes. Ooh. You could do whatever scheme you wanted. You could do it in a Spitfire scheme or anything. Or you could do it in army camouflage or something like that, just for something different.
No.
Gary says, "G'day, Duke. Weather here was gale force." I bet Jim went to school with her. Ian says, "Yeah, Duke. Good on you for meeting up." Jim says, "Must be a new experience, Duke, watching people who are awake." Scott says, "I never did armor until a year ago. Got one tank, Ukrainian Abrams, to see what it's like. Now I've built 3 and on my 4th Tiger 1. Nice.
Cool.
Other tanks are, of course, available."
Yeah.
GM says, "Duke, how was the weather down your way?" Kaylee says, "Hi, thought I would come and support you, Mike." Thank you, darling. Junior says, "Mal, are you turning it into a hover tank just to avoid the millions of wheels and links?"
Correct. I've got yesterday these neodymium magnets.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, if I'm going to make, I thought if I'm going to make it hover, it needs to hover.
You can always put clear plastic, clear acrylic rod underneath as well, can't you? Just in case.
No.
Somebody knocks it and it goes off the magnets.
No, cannot. It's got to hover.
Okay.
It's got to hover.
You're going to put electromagnets in it and everything.
Well, I mean, there's 50 there. Timber fiber 2 mil. Whether there's enough, because obviously I have to half them on the base, and but we'll see. If not, I'll just get some more. It's not that heavy. It'll be fine.
Jim says he needs all the support he can, Kaylee, but you know that. Jim says, "G'day, Duke. Congratulations on surviving your encounter with the Marley twins." Kaylee says, "Oh, I know he's a pain." Thank you, love. TBG says, "Hi, everyone." Hi, TBG.
Hello.
Oi.
Oi. Jim says, "Hobnobs are go." Yes. Ian says, "Hi, James." Duke. Gary, there was some sunshine in Melbourne today. It was a bit wet on the drive from Shepperton this morning. There you go. Jim says, "Hi, TBG." TBG says, "Hi, Ian." Julian says, "Go or gone, Jim." TBG says, "Hi, Julian." Duke says, "Thanks, Jim. We looked at a lot of models today and bought lots too." Ooh. Duke says, "Thanks, Jim. We looked at a lot." Oh, I've just read that one. Jim says, "Julian, my paraphrase of Thunderbirds must represent prior to hobnob consumption." Oh, very good. Jim says, "Duke, that's what swap meets model shows are all about." Yes. Problem is, Marley's now got to get all his home. Jim says, "No weapons, Mal. How can you defend against the natural enemy of the hobnob, the Jaffa cake?"
Easy. No, there are weapons. These MLRS launchers that each one contains 6 drones. The drones are primarily to look for hobnobs, but they can also be deployed as attack drones.
Counterinsurgency drones.
Yeah. Counter Jaffa cake, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's got weapons.
Multi-launch Jaffa cake system.
Anti-Jaffa cake system.
Yeah.
We'll have to include that.
Yeah. David says, "Working on the SE5 engine at the moment and hoping Airfix can find the missing part for my Merlin." Nice. Yeah. Hope you had a good time with Julian and he didn't terrorize you too much with the Barry show. Bob's in. He says, hello. The mention of Jaffa Cakes has brought me off the sidelines. Good man. Julian says, it's a lot less bother with a hover tank. That is, not a lawnmower. Very good. Right. And Kaylee's just going for a walk, apparently. Julian says, MLRS, multi-launch raisin shooters. Duke says, only took me 3 hours to get there, 4 hours there, and 3 hours drive home. Was that because you were driving as fast as you could because you were terrified that the wife was going to have a go at you for spending all the money? And you wanted to at least get home early, mitigate the damage. Jim says, Mal, is there a coffee? Mate, I don't go out on my own. Unless I have to. Jim says, Mal, is there a coffee dispenser or dispensers? A must for me with biscuits. If it's a British vehicle, then it's going to have a boiling vessel in it.
Yeah, BVs. These three BVs. One for each crew member.
Nice.
So yeah, boiling vessels are definitely in there.
Yeah. David says it was very good time there. Lots of chat with those displaying as well. Nice. And M4H was there as well, which is good. Well, this is just insane. Why would you do that? Right. On the instructions for this Land Rover, right? Step 9, you put the tub for the rear with the headboard, with the bulkhead. Step 10, you do the bonnet. And then step 11, you put the sides on the tub and the bulkhead. Why would you go from doing the back to the front and then back to the back?
Makes perfect sense.
Bloody Italians. You think being Italian, they just want to go in the rear all the time. Okay, that sounded worse than I imagined it. Yeah. Julian says, Mikey, are you allowed out on your own? No. I have to wear a bum hat and everything. Bob says, Ern in best Eric Morecambe voice. I can't remember what Eric Morecambe sounded like. David says, BV's best bit of kit on the AFVs. Yeah. We used to have them on the Fodens. That was always fun. Oh. Katie got a cold. Tim?
Yep. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, good to know that the microphone's pretty dialed in.
You'll have to tell her to go and die quietly.
Yeah, she's in the other room and everything.
Excuse me, darling. Would you mind dying quietly? I'm on the live stream. I'm sure that'll go down real well, Tim.
Yep. That's all right. We really shock people as we say, we're a house of equal rights, aren't we, darling? And she goes, yes, and lefts. Yeah. It's always good. And then it sinks in and people are like, oh. It's like, are you all right? I'm hanging in there, mate. Yeah, no, it's just coming into winter here, so yeah, there's a bit of a cough going around. People are just a bit chesty.
Well, not wrong with that. Jim says, David, I saw the pics you posted over the weekend. You and Julian together are truly two of the usual suspects. They do look very similar, don't they? Must be a South Wales thing. Heathens. Julian says, Mikey, we'll have to get you you and Kaylee t-shirts. Hers with adult supervisor on it, yours with supervised adults. Yeah. Jim says, Lincoln length tracks on the Matilda system.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't exactly know what that means. I'm still very new to armor. Is that a like section type?
Yeah.
Is that no? I was thinking about this the other week and opted to just do that.
The rubber band
the one piece rubber band track, just because I figure I'm gonna have it pressed into a bit of a vignette anyway. So for what is effectively going to be a half-inch of track that's actually visible, wasn't worth the headache. And now I've got lots of spare bits for my box. So
yeah, you can do some wrecked vehicles and things.
Mm-hmm.
Duke says, I've got a Roden 132nd Fokker DR1, a 135 A7B German tank from Turo. Anyone heard of them? No, but I've got the Meng one, the Meng 135 A7V, 148 Tamir ME109 E3, and an Edward 172 Newport 17. Nice. Good selection. I'm definitely noticing a theme across them, like, except from the 109. June says, helpful hint for the photo. David was the one stood up. Duke says, my wife made sure that I had taken some cash out of her purse to buy some models. Mikey, she's a keeper. Yeah, she did that so you didn't spend more than what she wanted you to, mate.
Yeah.
It wasn't her being nice, it was making sure you didn't overspend. The sly. Or they just know that the husband's really, really well.
Caught myself. Almost started to sing.
Ooh, don't do that. Tiff will beat you around the head.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you
I'm
would.
not. If it was John, maybe. I'm not Timmy.
Hey, Tim's a regular fixture now as well. He gets the same treatment as every other member of the panel.
Oh, I quite like my protected status.
Unlucky. You now get treated with equal disdain.
It's like when I got promoted to able seaman, and people are like, well, you know what that means? And I'm like, I get treated like a real boy? They're like, nah, you get in trouble like everyone else.
Yes. David says, Duke, nice selection. And Jim says, Duke, haven't heard of Turo myself. That's a new name for me. Or Toro, whatever. One thing I like about making Land Rover kits is they lend themselves very well to building in sections, so that you can spray them and things. Sub-assemblies is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Duke says, I also got a few modelling tools and magazine with Albatross D5 and Sopwith Pup. Ooh. Nice. Marley will be your best friend forever buying all those biplanes. Okay.
How do you normally go about painting your tracks and things on armor, Mikey?
I paint them before I put them on. I spray them.
Well, where were you last week?
I spray them because then I could just lay them flat and turn them over when I want to do the other side. And then once they're on, that's when you do the weathering.
Oh, well, good to see that my masochism is still in good form.
Well, it's got side skirts on, so you don't need to worry about painting the top.
Yes, that's true. This top edge of the track I don't have to worry about, but this underside is visible up the mud chute.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so wrong.
Terrible, yeah.
Jesus.
I'm fairly sure that's what that's called. Wow. If it is called that, it bloody well shouldn't be.
Oh dear. This child's getting worse. That's got to be a t-shirt. Tim can see up the mud chutes.
Yep. Yep. Tim Evans, tank proctologist.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or just t-shirt saying tank proctologist. That starts some conversations at model shows.
That'd be great. Or a conversation starter for a conversation I have no interest in having.
Julian's put the link for the Toro model kits in. Good work, Julian. Nice to see you awake today. Spend some time with David must have done you some good, bud. Come on. Duke says, I hadn't heard of them either, Jim. It'll be interesting to build and see what it's like. I'm surprised Marley hasn't got shares in it with the being Italian, because they always go backwards. Jim says, think of all those wings, John, can still install backwards. Yeah. GM says, I have 4 AFV Centurion tank kits. Did wonder why there is a lockable cap atop the front plate ahead of the turret. Apparently, there's a refill point for the hot water tank inside. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Jim says, up the mud chute. Blimey, that sounds painful. It's the fact that Tim's looking up the mud chute.
I am nothing if not thorough.
Yeah. It'd be very dark up there. Where no man has gone before.
Where are you in the tank's
Matilda.
planned maintenance cycle? I'm up for the tank's prostate.
Yeah. Up Matilda's mud chute.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, dear. Julian says, Awake is putting it a touch strongly, Mikey. Conscious, maybe. Well, that's close enough. But this channel is absolutely close enough to just be conscious. As long as you've got pulse, we'll take you. Duke says, should be a sand shoot if it's in the desert, Timmy. Good point.
It's a fair point.
Although
Yeah,
they
I'm
do
trying
have
to think
mud
of
in
something
it.
witty. I've got nothing.
Well, there's a surprise. Drew says, could be worse, looking up your own mud shoot, which would probably involve a visit to A&E.
Just a bit.
Duke says, shoot, not chut. Could have been worse. There's far worse words with Segu in them.
Yeah.
And considered very impolite in the UK for some reason.
Not in Scotland.
No, but they're jocks.
Yeah.
They lack any sort of culture.
They are called mud shoot. I've had to look it up. Vindication.
Obviously, Jockanese people, I am only joking. The fact that you had a first minute that spent more on a camper van than they did on, Scotland's health crisis is, beside the point. Joking, obviously. Don't sue me, Nicola Fish. You wouldn't get much. You certainly wouldn't get a camper van. Oh dear.
But anyway, that's politics, and
Yeah. We don't do that.
no. Oh, we try not to. Anyway.
I do.
Julian says, up Matilda's mud shoot. No wonder she was waltzing.
How dare you? Show some respect for the Queen of the Desert.
He used Walter Matilda for, I think it was the first short I put up on YouTube. Because it was the, I did the Australian LCP. Model T one.
See, I actually wouldn't mind doing another Matilda, or like almost back to back. I'd consider doing another one.
Yeah.
Because we used them in the Pacific regions, and there were some additions that they made, which are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So like over the back engine louvers and stuff like that, they had built steel, like a steel frame, and sometimes it was mesh and sometimes it was like steel plating, but basically the enemy would just lobbing grenades up on top and then like damaging the engine louvers.
Yeah.
So they created like a standoff, and then would just put tarps and all sorts of stowage and stuff all over the back, but then a nice kind of that foresty sort of green with like a red stripe along the side would look awesome.
Yeah, it would that. Why is that?
That, and learning a bit about the Matildas too, they are pretty snazzy, and my number one favorite part is that little thing on the back, which is the gong, but it's
gong.
literally like the gong. It's a little. I thought it was a light initially when I was putting the kit together. But what it is, a little rubber press button, and they press it, and there's just a little klaxon on the inside that goes and lets them know that people are behind it. And a modification Australians made later on, again in that Pacific region, is they replaced it with an infantry phone, so they could actually communicate to the
infantry,
to the tank. Yeah, so they
to the
they
poor
had a
buggers
little
outside.
phone. Yeah, on the back, or more to the point. So the guys at the back could communicate with the guys in the tank and say, "Hey, we're here. Stop reversing."
Yeah, please stop running over my men. They don't like it. GM says, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Hobby Time says, hi guys. Hello, Hobby Time.
Hello.
Hey.
Phil says, looking at the 1/144 Thunderbird 2 by AIP at over £200, I'd want an all-inclusive fortnight on Tracy Island as well. Yeah. Thing is, how do they know what scale it is if it was never real in the first place? Hobby Time says, hi, Jim. Hobby Time says, hi, Julian. Jim says, hey, Hobby Time, a happy Monday to you. And Hobby Time says, and you, Jim. There you go. So, have you had a chance to see John whilst he's been up there, Tim?
No, I'm up north, so I'm in Queensland.
Oh yeah, of course you are.
Yeah, other direction, but
yeah.
No, I'm hoping to get down to Melbourne this year to kind of see my grandparents and things. So unfortunately, I haven't really been there since I went through basic training.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute.
You have to go after the baby's born so they can meet it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would love it.
Yeah.
Dear God, we got another grandkid.
I'd get the usual comments. Oh,
yeah, should have put something on the end of it.
You used to be cute. What happened? You know,
you used to have such lovely long hair. Apparently, that's what happened with my dad. 'Cause, my dad used to have hair like down past his shoulders, and he went working away, and he got fed up from my nan always saying to him, "You need to cut your hair." So in the end, he shaved his hair off, and it never grew back. And then he started going, "You used to have lovely long hair."
Yeah, I remember my old man was deployed to Iraq when someone had taken a photo of him talking to a local, and it was the first time he'd seen photographic evidence that he was starting to thin out a little bit on the back of his head, and he'd sent me that photo in the mail, just with a Nico he'd written on it, "You are the cause of this." It's like you got 3 other kids. It's I don't know how you're working that out.
Are you the bad child? Are you, Tim?
No, I'm the
rebel.
I'm the oldest, so I'm the third parent. And I'm pretty sure
that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure my parents would, and siblings would back me up on that. But no, my younger brother Lachlan, he's probably the
black
eyes
sheep.
closed, face first, can't lose sort of kid.
Nigel says, "Good day, all. How are you all?" Hello, Nigel. We are well. Jim says the Queen looked a wee dishevelled after crossing paths with an 88mm. Ew. I imagine most people would. Gary says Phil asked for film rights to cover the costs. Gary says the Priscilla I saw was atop a bus wearing drag clothes. Oh. Oh dear. In fact, if I look at the decals for this vehicle, I'll be able to look up in the book and see which unit it was attached to. I just realised that. Because I have a book with the list of all the registration numbers in. Because I'm that sad. No, it's all about, it's a book all about the history of the military Land Rovers. And in the back of it, it's got a list of all the registration numbers and who they were attached to and what type of vehicle it was.
Oh wow!
I'll show you now if I've got it in here.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Bad, Mikey. It's just, geeky, nerdy. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Here you go. Coil sprung models from 1970 to 2007. So if I look on the decals, in fact, it should be on manual. 59 Kilo Bravo 28. Move the microphone up out of the way so I don't hit it. Kilo Bravo 28. It was an ambulance. Let's have a look. Book's a bit creaky. Try service. Be the early ones, I think. Right, 59. It's none of them. So, try service. 59 Kilo Juliet. So we're getting closer.
Everyone's just waiting in anticipation for Mikey to find it. Just quiet anticipation.
It's very creaky, this book. I do apologise.
It's fine with how creaky I come from Mr. Morris. This chair. And to be fair, mine as well.
59 Kilo. So $59 Kilo Hotel. 5.
Yeah, since Tracy Island was mentioned earlier, now I've got the bloody Busted song stuck in my head.
For anyone over 30, we have the original Thunderbirds tune.
I never really watched Thunderbirds.
That's because you're not over 30.
Yeah, the Busted one was from the film.
Yeah.
The latest film.
Where could it be?
Yeah, unfortunately, my sort of experience with those puppets, like Thunderbirds, my entry was with Team America. So now when I go back and try and watch Thunderbirds,
I do
and I see them like staring, for a sec, waiting to speak. I'm waiting for them to say something horrific.
Yeah. Team America was good.
Such a stupid movie. Matt Damon.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I know that bloody lonely song off by heart as well. Without the music. Because I am that sad.
It doesn't have the Land Rover 109 in it, which is interesting. Interesting.
So does that mean you can pretty well just pick one? And you said it was off the registration plate, right?
Yeah. 59 Kilo Bravo. Yeah. Usually they do it in batches. So 59. It depends what year it's made as well. Which is the problem with the military system, is they don't really tell you what year they were made. Wolves. High utility. I don't know. It doesn't seem to have the Mark III or 109 though. I think they focus mostly on defenders. Unless they've just made a registration up, which wouldn't surprise me.
Might have done.
Well, there's an i4 Land Rover. Defender 110 varies in this usually, but 12 volt GS and 24 volt FFRs. There are multiple special variants. i4 soft top. That's one kit I do want. It's a Land Rover BFA kit, but I don't think there's anywhere that does one yet. Battlefield ambulance.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty cool vehicle. It makes you feel seasick when you're bloody driving it, like. Because it's top heavy, so it's rolling all over the place.
that's nice. I keep forgetting the detail on this scale is really nice.
Hmm.
Like I was just starting to get the initial coat on the exhaust, and I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but no, I don't think it's going to want to focus. But oh, yep, that flange where the exhaust meets,
Yes,
it's really, really nice.
it's a nice, good flange.
Quality chime in.
It's all about the flange and mud shoot today. And there we go. Let's get back to the comment. Bob said an RC plane drag race a few decades ago. Only the British pilots turned up in dresses. I believe they won because all of the teams were laughing too much. GM says, Mikey, and remember the Land Rover Spotters Club Limited? Do you know what? It's funny because when we go shopping, whenever I see a Land Rover, I actually do. That's a 110 or 90 or whatever. And it's got bimble tyres on, or it's got normal tyres. Because I'm sad like that. I do get
you're a nerd.
I'm excited about that. I think if I had enough money, I'd probably get a Land Rover BFA and convert it into a camper van or something. June said, hi, hobby time. GM says, fab, frequently acknowledged broadcast. There you go. Bob says, uh-oh, what did I do last? Jadlam confirmed dispatch of 3 tank kits. Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Have you just ordered 3 of the same tanks again, Bob?
Uh-oh.
To be fair, I ordered 4 books the other day as well. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them because I'm running out of bookcases. I'm going to have to clear some off the other shelf. June says, nope, I have the Fuzzbox song from 1987 in my head, Mikey. International Rescue. There we go. Joe says, nice book, Mikey. Short show for me today. I'm off to make some mulch for the wife's garden before rain moves in. See you tomorrow, I think. See you later, Joe.
Bye.
See you, mate.
GM says, was watching a rerun of Red Dwarf. The guys, while flying in Starbug, are sitting on ejection seats in a spaceship. Yeah. June says, Gary in an interview. Ooh, what happened there? June says, Gary in an interview, allegedly, when asked what FAB stood for, Jerry Anderson replied, F all, basically. But loud. If not, even if it's not true, I love the idea. Yeah. Oh, come on. She says, yep, Gary, because if your spaceship is on fire, you want to be somewhere very cold with no oxygen. Junior says, sigh, Mikey, Tim, naughty corner now. And Bob says, it's cold outside and there's no kind of atmosphere. Yeah, and we're all alone, more or less. Let's just fly far away from here. Fun, fun, fun in the sun, sun, sun. I enjoy Red Dwarf, if you can't tell. I remember when I was young, I used to have a tape called Red Dwarf Smeg Ups, and it was Crichton presenting video clips, like a clip show of all the stuff that had gone wrong when they were filming and stuff. It was quite funny. There's stuff like they'd go to walk through a door and the door would shut on them when they were halfway through and things, and they get stuck because the stage crew had mistimed it.
It's like in the original Star Wars when the stormtroopers are walking into the control room above the hangar bay. And, one of them donks their head on the way through.
Apparently, they could barely see out of them helmets.
Well, explains the marksmanship.
Well, yeah.
Lack of.
Yeah. Makes you wonder however did they win the war? It's surprising how much of the film was like the weapons and things were based on real ones, real German weapons and things.
Oh yeah, like using the parts.
Well, Nuno, the plastic alchemist, he's made a 3D printed blaster from Mandalorian, hasn't he? For someone. And you can just see like the MG34 and the MG46 in it. Or whatever it is, MG42 even. You can see like the shoulder stock and everything from German World War II machine guns.
Yeah,
Julian says, helmets and mud. Sorry, go on.
No, you go, mate. Sorry.
No, go on. What were you going to say?
Han Solo's blaster.
Yeah,
it's like based on the Mauser C96.
Yeah,
and then it's got like a MG81 flash hider and like all the grips and stuff. Yeah, it's all mismatch and stuff. But of course, the props change between movies and little things change. So it depends how much in the weeds. But yeah, a lot of those original things had cool old bits of machinery and weapons and stuff kind of in on them and then zhuzhed up.
Adam Savage does episodes where he shows how a lot of them were built, doesn't he? A lot of the old like Star Trek weapons and stuff, yeah.
It's pretty nifty.
Yeah, he does it on his YouTube channel. And he does a lot of showing you how different props were made and things. And he makes his own replicas.
Huh.
Julian says, helmets and mud chutes, I think we found the level. GM says, Robert Llewellyn, Crichton, we have worked together filming the TV series Scrapyard Wars. Rod is hilarious to work with. Gary Junior says, I thought it was Scrapyard Challenge. No, it's Scrap Eat Challenge in the UK.
Yeah.
In America, it was Junkyard Wars, wasn't it?
I loved those shows growing up.
Yeah. Bob says, can't remember which Star Wars film it was in, but apparently 2 back-to-back spark plugs make a rebreather. Yeah. That was probably Star Wars episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because they go into the water, don't they, to go down to the Gungans.
Yep.
Bob says, always fun seeking out common items being props. Yeah. And Junior says, wasn't the Stormtrooper gun in Star Wars based on the Sterling submachine gun? It was.
Yeah.
Mal remembers him fondly.
I do. Probably also another reason why they were inaccurate.
I take it they weren't great to fire.
They were all right, actually. Until you got Pakistani ammunition when they didn't blow back far enough to hit the seer. So they, on semi-automatic, they continue firing on automatic, which was a bit dodgy because the Pakistani ammunition they had at the time was I don't know what you call it, low filled. Basically, rounds weren't powerful enough.
Yeah.
Yes, that was interesting. A load of recruits up for negligent discharges. Until we realised there must be something wrong with so many guys firing automatic.
Yeah.
That's why you got to look out for your mates. If you hear someone ND, you just got to be quick and yell like "snake."
Yeah, you don't get.
Yeah, I remember when we were on the range once, and we were having a talk with our staff sergeant about weapons drills, and he was showing us what to do and everything. And he said, you got to make sure your selector switch is on the correct one, because if you're on the range, the last thing you want to be doing is going off on automatic, because if you do, then I'll jump all over you. And next minute, all we heard on the next range was, and he's like, and we all looked like, oh, somebody's in trouble. So he got on the radio and said, "Who the bloody hell done that?" And he went, "Your son, Staff Sergeant."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, for God's sake." I think I only used my rifle on automatic twice, maybe. I never really needed it because I was able to fire fast enough anyway on semi-automatic.
I used to set my SLR on automatic fairly regularly.
To be fair, you needed it with the SLR.
Sorry?
Lower muzzle velocity. Lower muzzle velocity, lower round capacity.
But SLRs were a 7.62 though, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but round was still slow.
At least you only have to hit them once.
It's fair. You only have to hit once with a 5.56 normally if you do it in the right place. The cavitation from the 5.56 is a lot greater. David says, "Yes, very true, Mal. Really crap ammo for them. Yes, underfilled." GM says the title changed about a few times until Scrapyard was finalized. The army guy with the big beard, forgot his name, but he was also hilarious to talk with. That was Major Dick Strawbridge.
Yeah, Dick Strawbridge. Yeah,
the Royal Engineers, who now does the Chateau program.
Thought he was Remy.
No, he was Royal Engineers, wasn't he?
Well, I used to think he was Royal Engineers, but I think he was actually Remy.
Let's have a look. Let's Google it.
We'll claim him. He's a right dude. He should have been Royal Engineers.
Oh, no, he was a Scaly.
Signals, I had a feeling that might have been the case, but I think he'd.
He was a Scaly, and he retired as a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like a bloody colonel, doesn't he?
Yeah. Seems like a great bloke as well when doing that chateau thing.
Yes.
Him and his missus got stuck in and got on with it.
Well, yeah, he sounds like the sort of guy that you'd want to work for, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Not one of these assholes that's just going to sit behind a desk and expect you to do everything. He's quite happy to get stuck in as well.
Oh, he mucked in, didn't he? I mean, he had to. Have you seen the series now where it seems like half the world's taken on his chateau in France and Italy? Help, we bought a village, or...
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Built that tub and it fits perfectly on there. Nice. Shit. Oh, it does until I drop the damn thing. Yeah, look at that. Lines up perfectly with the bumpers.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Nice.
There you go. Bob says, wasn't the AK rifle range fitted with a how to get it lever that was backwards to the rest of the world? Yeah. It's just a big metal lever on the side, isn't it? It's like a 90 degree a piece of angle bar. And you just flick it up.
Which isn't it? It's just a massive lever.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. It doesn't even tell you which settings for which. What position.
Unlike the automatic setting on the SLR where you had to break it open and put half a matchstick underneath the seat.
Yeah. See, on the SA80 it was dead easy. The same on the M4 and things. They tell you what settings where. David says exit wound from an SLR was a lot larger than the entry hole. Well, yeah, they are on most rounds.
Yeah, most high velocity rounds will do that.
Supersonic. Yeah, because the cavitation inside just blows the back out. It's not the actual bullet that does damage. It's the pressure changed within the body that does the damage.
Yeah,
from the change in air pressure as the round passes through the body.
Yeah, they don't like it up them.
No.
All that bayonets in it.
They go boom. You get like a massive air cavity inside, and everything just blows itself apart. What if you watch Kentucky Ballistics? He does it, doesn't he, with ballistics dummies? He just fires a round in it, and it can only be, it might only be a 5.56 round, but it just blows the center out of it, the stomach out of it, because the pressure differential.
Yeah, not nice.
No.
I never had to carry a weapon, so.
Well, to be fair, you were living in a weapon.
Yeah, pretty much. They just showed us a video of what a Mark 48 torpedo does.
Yeah, they just showed you where the lifeboats are, and that was it. I said, "This is something you'll never see again."
I was so lazy when they do like leaving ship stations. You'd have to on your way to your life station. You'd have to go by the lockers. So grab a thermal suit and a life jacket, and on the front they'd have little pouches, and you'd have to grab a tab so that you could show that I went by each of those lockers on the way. And I was so lazy that because my all our stuff is Velcro, like our name tags and all that. So I always kept a red and a blue tab under my name tag, so I could just sit down and have my coffee and then dawdle up to the RAS station and be like, yeah, all right, I'm done. Check my name off. Go back to watching TV.
As a stoker, was it sort of, here's a lifeboat. Don't worry, because even in an emergency, you will not get that chance to see them.
Well, I was
fast enough.
on the first deployment. Yeah, it was a little bit like that, like know where it is. But then on all my subsequent ones, I was the launcher. Because on the LHDs they're so big, the stations would actually deploy a thing out the side, and then it would deploy a chute, and it was like a double helix slide that would go down to what was effectively a giant bouncy castle.
Yeah,
that would deploy, and then people would go down that and all that. But because the thing that would deploy out the side of the ship was hydraulic, and I was a stoker, so they're just like, you can do it. I was the deploy guy.
Yeah, which
suited me just fine because I got to go have reception on my phone and sit outside, and relatively outside, on the boat deck, which is sort of
so what you're saying
from
is
the
you were
side.
the person that. What you're saying is you're the person that went on deployment and told half of Facebook where your ship was.
No, most of the time we did. Most of the time we didn't have jippers. But yeah, I don't know. My old ship was in the news the other day for cutting off. No, we're not the New Zealand Navy. No, they were over in New Zealand though. But as they were coming close to the coast, they were cutting off everyone's internet and radio because the navigation radar or something was operating on the same frequency as one of the shared things, and New Zealand Defence Force had to get in contact with the ship and say, "Hey, can you go to a different channel?" But yeah,
that's
caused a bit of news down here.
Yeah, it shows how powerful the equipment is on those ships, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm just glad I wasn't a greenie because, all those radars and things like that. You go up there and
you're not going to have kids, are you?
No, well, yeah, not going to have any boys, that's for sure. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
I can deal with, like, if you're in the engine room and you hear knock knock, who's there? Piston 6, and like, blow up or something. You can sort of deal with that. That's a kinetic thing. But if you stick your head up over the ladder and stuff, and I guess the radar's hot because my brain now has a mass. It's not very sporting, is it?
No.
So
I can remember being on Stag, and one of the vehicles that was going out on a convoy pulled up to the gate, and when they pulled up to the gate, they're not supposed to have any of their ECM equipment switched on because it's dangerous. Because it uses some of it uses microwaves and things like that. Yep. And I remember being on Stag one day, and I thought, my legs are getting awfully warm. I wonder if they've left their bloody ECM on. And I went up to the door and went, "Have you got your ECM on?" He went, "Oh shit, yeah, sorry, mate." And I went, "Yeah, my legs and groin area were getting rather warm. I could feel it tingling." Went, "Oh, sorry." Right, yeah. Thanks, dude. Ruined me prospects, and I'm only 19. Hey, maybe I could sue the army for that. Nah, they got enough troubles. They won't be able to afford it. AD says, "Hello, everyone." Hello, Adrian.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you, dear? How are you other than looking rather slim? June says, "A few programs on TV have showed rounds fired into clear ballistics gel to show the damage it does. In short, tumbling and or causing the cavitation Mikey mentioned, basically releasing kinetic energy." Yes. It's horrendous seeing the damage it does, and especially in slow motion, to the damage it does to the organs. David says, "Read that up here as well, Tim."
Yeah.
Read it
Sorry.
up there as well. Well, down there. It's down there for me. he read about that incident that you mentioned.
Oh, sorry. Right. Just my brain's just switching off. Yeah.
Come on, Tim,
That's
switch
all.
on, lad. You can do it.
It's hard for me, isn't it? Yeah.
You can do it.
It's all a bit of fun. No one got hurt. I knew though we had the opposite problem when the Chinese came in the Fleet Base East a couple of years ago.
Just half the New Zealand coast.
No, like they were coming past Australia as one of their amphibious ships, and I think it had a destroyer as an escort, but they came alongside in Sydney just to like replenish and stuff like that. And yeah, this was just before the 5G rollout, and all of a sudden there was an open 5G network with full bars and stuff like that. We had to have a full safety brief, like, do not connect to that 5G.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a bit funny sitting on the quarterdeck, you know, having smoko or whatever, and you know, looking over at the Chinese ship, and they're all there with their binoculars watching us, and we're just kind of flicking them off. And yeah, it was a bit funny.
Did you moony them?
No, but there were a couple people. Let's say a lot of stokers aren't particularly politically correct, so there might have been a couple faces pulled, and you know, eyes.
You're trying to say this very diplomatically now, aren't you?
I'm trying to. There's not really a nice way to say it, but very funny at the time.
It's very funny when you're 19.
Yeah, just young, stupid guys, you know. You gotta laugh, otherwise you cry.
Yes. Julian says, on car SOS, there was a knackered piston in an engine. The voiceover said, "Oh dear, piston broke, but he still comes to work." GM says, the Cyrano radar on the Royal Australian Air Force Mirages would cook eggs sitting on top of the test targets during tests at our base. Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Drew says, always makes me laugh when I remember the news stories about the Royal Navy submarine HMS Astute running aground. And I thought, not very astute then. Yeah. To be fair, it's amazing that doesn't happen often considering they can't see where they're going. They're using dead reckoning most of the time. And a lot of electronic equipment, obviously. Okay, so what have we got to go on the back of it? Number plates. They've actually done the Land Rover badge on it as well. It's absolutely tiny. To be fair. I zoom in and then try and focus. There you go. They've actually done the Land Rover badge on it. It's cool, isn't it?
Wow.
Is that a free use kind of thing, or like would that kit have been like endorsed by Land Rover?
It probably would have been licensed, I think.
License, that's the word I was looking for.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, wow.
Zoom out. Why is it workmen always turn up when you're halfway through a stream? Julian says they were on the surface going into Rosyth, Mikey. So for once, they could. see where they were going.
And Mikey, you went all glitchy there.
Yeah, I know, mate. Nigel went, "What kit is that, Mikey?" It is the Italeri Land Rover 109 long wheelbase. There you go. And you can either do it as a medic or as a normal Land Rover.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So the guys come to raise my armchair for me, so I might have to disappear for 2 minutes.
How high?
That's nice.
How high?
Yeah, because my armchair is too low for me, and it hurts my back getting in and out. Just read that one. Nigel says, "Thanks. Looks like another order going in." It is a nice kit. Okay, so on the bumper. Being called, wait 2 minutes.
No worries.
Yeah. Oh, good, mate.
That is not an excuse for us to sing.
All right, no singing.
I still have my finger over the mute button.
So, about the recent council election now.
No politics either.
Oh, wow. Please, sir, may I have some less? You know? It's actually my whole purpose of being here, and it's just as a sleeper agent to get Mikey's channel struck.
No, I think that's John's job.
That's a fair point.
He has to get his certain phrase out of the way before the stream starts.
So, what are you working on there, Tiff?
A book nook.
Oh, nice. My wife loves those.
It's just a
Like a garden. Oh, that's nice. I like the greenhouse roof on it. That's cool.
Yeah. It's actually got like the proper like plastic sheeting and stuff for it as well. I did make a bit of an error on it. When I've stuck this part on, I've lined it up wrong. So you see how that's joined there like that?
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
bit here is actually supposed to be on this bit, not butted up against that edge. So everything overhangs now. But I'll fix it. I've got some bits of plywood and stuff that I can use to.
Yeah, nice.
Because I do. Well, when I take the fancy for it, I'd like to do some wood burning. Pyrography.
Engineer yourself a way out.
Yeah. Gotta do something. I get bored every day if I don't.
Yeah.
It takes my mind off things.
That's a good part of it, right?
Yeah.
Be a lot less fun hobbying and stuff if all your problems and things are there with you.
Yeah, it's what I like about the streams, because it keeps me busy. Especially when I'm having a bad day. They always make me laugh.
Yeah.
Your missus isn't the only one with a bloody cold. It's that season, I think.
Yeah. Is it so? It'll be coming into summer over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that change of season, isn't it?
Oh, that's a nightmare.
There you go. And I'm back. Yeah, he's come measuring up the base of the armchair. Ready
You might
for,
have
so he's
some.
going to go and build a platform for it to sit on.
Cool.
You might have some angry correspondence coming from YouTube, Mikey.
Why? What have you done?
I didn't do anything. Modders was just cussing me out and using all sorts of profanities.
That is bullshit.
Whoa! There she goes again.
For some reason, I don't doubt it. Julian says, Mikey doing your Norman Collier bit. He was a comedian. Sorry?
Says me,
Hello?
profanity.
What were you saying? Julian says, Mikey doing your Norman Collier bit. He was a comedian who pretended he had a stuffed microphone. Okay. Kevin says, one trip we had a gull and on our air radar us as we radiated and fried it and had to climb the mast to scrape it off as part of the training package. Holy shit, that's scary. Yeah, imagine that was.
Yeah, it's a no from me. Working at heights. No.
Well, it's not just that, is it? You're sticking your head where you know for a fact that the bird's literally just been cooked because there's that much radiation. It's not the sort of place you really want to be sticking your head, is it? Jim says, when Mikey always speaks in multiples of 10, so when he says 2 minutes, he really means 20 minutes. Very good, Jim. But it's because I'm Welsh, you see. We always say, I'll be right there in a minute. Nigel says, I do like Italeri kits. Done a couple of their MTBs and their Sunderland and Sterling kits. Oh, we have a wandering minstrel.
Oh.
Hello.
Ah,
Oh, hello.
ahoy.
Hello. 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 Hello.
I'm trying to work out how to make my screen big. I guess that'll do. Hello. Let's try that one.
Hello. David says, looks good there, Tiff.
Thank you.
Junior says, not fantastic for the gull either, Kevin. And he says, evening, John. John, what the hell are you doing?
Well, so what do you mean? So I've just finished playing a board game with my Brazier. So I'm here now. I made it.
Excellent. Well, we've discovered that Tim likes mud shoots and flanges today.
All right. Yeah, we knew that.
Yes. Talk about stating the obvious, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I
Duke
didn't
says,
join the
good day
Navy to
again,
see the
John.
world.
Oh, hello, Duke. I met Duke earlier today. In fact,
Yeah.
it was great.
John was the only one not in a branded T-shirt.
This is true. Yeah.
But he did have his M4H volunteers badge on so that people
He
knew
did.
who he was.
Yeah. Great success, apparently. No one knew. No, actually, I did introduce myself to a couple of, the people that were there that have supported Multiple Heroes with the 48 and 48 kit donations and such forth. So I took photos with each of them, and I'll share them on the beneficiaries only Multiple Heroes Facebook page.
Excellent.
But talking to a couple of people, so talking to Metro Hobbies and Models and Hobbies for You, both of them have said, like, well, if you start, say, a Models for Heroes version in Australia, give us a call. One of them said, we've got 100 kits waiting on the side as donations for veterans. And the other one said, like, we'll help out and we'll do whatever we can. But, we're excited about this and we've been looking forward to it. We're trying to get one started ourselves and stuff like that. So it's been great, actually. Really good feedback.
Yeah, good to hear.
So I was quite delighted to hear that.
So in other words, get cracking, John.
I know, yes. So I will now. I'm inspired. But I found two today. I found two of my, what I would consider Holy Grail kits. Would you like to see what they are?
Go on.
What a surprise. So the first is, okay, so this is one of them. So that's a Hussey 48 scale. I know, right? So that's Black 6, which is the BF109G6. That's in Cosford.
Sounded like Tim just deflated.
Yeah. So Paul Blacker and a couple of the other guys. So the history of this aircraft is it was founded by Bobby Gibbs, the CEO of RWF-3 Squadron in Libya in 1942. And he slept under the wing of it with his armed. What it says in the book I read is like with his armed pistol ready to shoot anyone who tried to take anything from the plane. But basically, he would have slept with his armed pistol anyway because it was like Libya in 1942. So then he was going to fly this to Australia and keep it himself, but he was told by the British, no, you need to fly it back to us. We haven't come across a G version yet. So under duress, he flew it back to the UK with his code CVV on it. And then later on, it was restored in the 80s, 90s by Paul Blacker and the boys of the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Flew again, as you see it there, and crashed in early 90s, I believe. Now it's been restored yet again. However, it's non-flying condition and sits in Cosford, so Black 6. So that's a real. I was so cool, so glad to see that. There's only $20 Australian, which is about the price of a house over in the UK, I think, or something like that. Maybe it's about the price of a Brighton Rock. Maybe, I don't know. One of the two.
Blackpool Rock.
So that's all right. Hey,
Blackpool Rock.
No, Brighton Rock, the Queen song. It was about $40 million. And the other one, I'm so stoked about this, is literally the Holy Grail kit I've been looking for about 30 years.
Okay. Interesting.
So, yes, it's FX's 48 scale TSR2, which is, oh my God, hold my beer. So, thrilled with that. Thrilled. Absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
It's big. So, yeah. So there we are. So hello to everyone.
That's what she said.
Good. Fine. Yourself. And hello, Timmer.
Hello.
Yes.
Right. So I'll continue, will I? Oh, so what have I been working on? Oh.
Julian says, mud chutes, flanges, and helmets. Oh my. Bob says, unsure and CBA to look it up. Does the post restaurant system still exist? Do you know? Julian says, yes, and still available, Robert. David says, very nice, John. Wow. David says, David. Bob says, in Australia.
Mm.
So, John, you're back home tomorrow, aren't you?
No, I'm going to stay an extra day.
Ah, cool.
So my father,
Yeah.
he didn't have a COVID scare. He had COVID. So we had a barbecue in the park with family last Sunday. The following morning, he tested positive for COVID, which is odd because none of us have it. However, COVID has been running around the nursing home where he is. So he tested positive for that. My mum was put into isolation. She was released 2 days ago. So I went and took her out for a cup of coffee and blah, blah, blah. Dad is about noon today has been released. He was non-symptomatic COVID. Non-symptomatic. So he's been released as no longer a danger to the community. So my brother Hoss is going to pick me up in the morning, and we're going to drive down there and see my father, which means I'm here for an extra day, and I drive home Wednesday.
Cool.
So yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad Papa got away without any symptoms. It's probably the last thing he needs.
Ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's wonderful. So I'm here another day. My wife said, who are you? I can't remember who you are. You can stay there as long as you like, and yada yada yada. No, she didn't. I miss her.
A day,
and the fam,
a year.
So.
What's it matter?
Don't know. I'll drive home Wednesday. There's no reason to stay. It's cold. Mind you, it's warmer here in Melbourne than it is in Raymond Terrace because the temperature's about the same, but they had massive winds up there, like 70 odd kilometres or so. So it said, is 12 degrees feels like -1. Well, here it is 12 degrees feels like 11. So it's actually warmer here, but it's still bloody cold because it's Melbourne.
Apparently, Bob had a notification off Jadlams today. 3 tanks will be turning up at his house that he ordered last night, and he doesn't even know what he ordered.
Oh no!
So he's having fun there.
Cool.
I think technology should be taken off Bob.
Possible, but then he wouldn't be able to watch the show, and that's no fair. Ian says, "Wow, John." Sorry, go on.
The technology that can be used to buy things.
Like money and bank cards. Ian says, "Wow, John, seen both of those with my own eyes at Cosford."
So have I, which was a delight to see. The TSR2 is so large.
Is that when you came to Telford?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
you bringing Tim to Telford?
Well, it's up to Cat, I think. Katie.
Yeah, Tim's bringing Tim to Telford.
Tim's going to be chaperoning the Marley twins.
All right.
Yeah, well, I heard that there's going to be a scrap, so.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so here's the thing. So that is the size of the fuselage of the BF-109G in 48 scale, okay?
Yeah.
So this is the size of the fuselage of the TSR2 in the same scale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stunning aircraft, so powerful. So no, I am over the moon about that. The other thing that was fun is this mob were there. Qatari were there.
Yeah.
So we got to pick up and play with the bits that are their BF-109 K4, and I got to talk to Richard Alexander, who is one of the designers of the kit and blah blah blah, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful chat. Plus, I mentioned before, met up with Duke, met up with Models and Heroes for You, met up with Hobbies Australia, met up with SMS Hobbies, met up with Metro Hobbies. Yeah, so it's just a wonderful sort of. Oh, and Laurie, the owner, the guy who runs the Model Expo.
Yeah.
So, Laurie. And he turned around and said, John, oh my God, I haven't seen you for years. How are you, mate? So he recognised me, which is really cool. So I had a wonderful day.
Good.
Because we used to be in Waverley Sale Model Club before I joined Air Force. So it's like in the mid-90s.
I bet
he remembered me.
I bet you spotted Duke a mile away, didn't you?
Actually, Paul did first. I was upstairs in the swap and sell. But Paul said, "Yeah, Duke's wearing a red T-shirt. When you see him, pretend you know who he is, sort of thing." And I said, "No, I knew who he was. I knew. I've met him before. No, we've spoken before on the YouTubes and the messengers and stuff. So." No, it's just really good. He's a hell of a nice guy, as it turns out. Well, no, not as it turns out. We knew that already, but
yes,
it's just a really, really good day. Really good day. It's like, it's awesome. And at the end of it, I said to Paul, "So would Marianne have enjoyed it?" "Oh, God, no." So she reckons she dodged a bullet.
Julian says, "Yes, Robert, known as the counter delivery in Australia." Bob says, "Fuzzy today. Can I send stuff to Australia post restaurants? How does it work?" I don't know. You'd have to speak to John about that one. Duke says, "Paul and I had to wipe the drool off John's chin during today because of the TSR." No, that's just old age, mate. GM says, "John, Russ Snadden was the main instigator in the rebuild. Cliff Spink and I chased spares across Europe for the engine. The aircraft is a hybrid F-24 and G-24.
Wow. Okay. Well done. I didn't know that. No, I have the Haynes manual. That's all I've known about it.
Bob says, "Thinking to shortcut beast delivery delays." Yeah. So he's talking about Strand Beast, John.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because he accidentally ordered another. He thought he'd ordered another 4, but it turned out he'd ordered another 6.
Oh my God.
So he ordered 10 by mistake altogether. So he's sending us some, and we're going to have some as prizes for the competition.
It's amazing.
June says, "Bob, reply address, for example, John Smith's, care of Brisbane, CPO Brisbane, Queensland, 4,000, save for a month, just present ID to collect it." What? Okay. Bob says, "So, will O'Malley be prepared to collect beasts if I send them, and where to send them to?"
I would. Where to send them to? I think the best way is to, if you're on socials, pinging me on Skull Modeling Twins at YouTube thingy. If not, then
I can send Bob your email.
Yes, do that.
Yeah,
that'd be great. That'd be amazing.
There we go. You can sort it out between you. Dietz says, "Almost missed it. Well, I was first to comment. Now perhaps the last one. Maybe." June says, "Laugh out loud, Hagrid." But to make up for it, you can make sure you've lubed that like button.
Lubed it up.
Yeah. June says, "Laugh out loud, Hagrid." Bob says, "Now the real question: does post restaurants work in Barry?" Ooh, I don't know. Jim says, "Just saw the photo in Duke posted in Discord. A wonderful group of Aussies. Huzzah!"
Huzzah!
June says, okay, post restaurant international service that I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of it. Anyway, we're at the 2-hour mark.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you joined with 15 minutes to go, John. Just long enough to show us what you bought.
I'm so impressed. I'm so happy I found that kit.
Well,
no one else bought it. What the hell?
Yeah. Worth the wait to see our John. June says, "Doubt it, Robert. Royal fail. Keep closing post offices here." Well, the other problem Julian has as well is he can't get to the post office. Well, he can, but it's a mission for him. Right. Let's have a butcher's hook. 18 likes. Ooh, not bad. Julian says, anywho, great stream as always. Thank you, Julian. And Duke says, Paul wasn't impressed by your purchase, though, John. Ha ha ha.
He never is.
Right. Can the two children in the group, are we ready? The two youngsters.
Yeah.
We know you get carried away with arts and crafts lesson, but the better looking Marley says nothing impresses me. Yeah, so me and Modders are back tomorrow with the motorbike build.
Yeah.
Yes, 12 o'clock. Which should be fun.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. Bob says Carphilly not too far, especially with sort of relatives in Barry.
Sort of relatives.
Yeah. Ian says 19 likes. I forgot. There we go. See, this is why we remind people. Even the regulars forget. Dietz says, yay. Very good, Dietz. Yeah, so we're back tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the motorbikes from me and Tiff. If any of you guys want to come on, let me know and I will send you the link. But otherwise, see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.